Okay. Number 1. Lázaro, if you can help us out here.
Yes, sir. Which of the following is not considered a system component that can be found inside a computer? I put C, PCIe graphic adapter.
Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Number 2, which computer component contains all of the circuitry necessary for the other components or devices to communicate with one another? Anybody?
That was A.
Motherboard.
Okay. We know that the adapter card is for a slot, and or if it was an adapter itself will be on the outside, not the motherboard. The motherboard is the main component or the backbone, right? Next question. Carlos.
One motherboard designs style features smaller size and lower power consumption. I answered micro ATX. C.
Okay, we're talking about motherboards, and unfortunately, questions a little bit vague. Does it say at any point that I'm talking about a laptop?
No.
Okay, knowing that it's not talking about a laptop, which of the two is smaller in size? And sorry, out of 3, right? We have ATX, AT,
D.
ITX.
D, ITX.
Yeah, it was ITX. That was a trick question there. They didn't specify a laptop. They said a motherboard design, which its feature is smaller in size. At no point did they talk about a laptop or mainly mentioning a PC there. Next one. Which of the following is not controlled by the North Bridge?
B.
B.
SATA. That is correct. The SATA is the one that's on the South Bridge. PCIe is the newer video. AGP is the newer, and we said cache memory is in the North Bridge. Correct. Number 5, Justin.
You find out that a disgruntled ex-employee's computer has a boot password that must be entered before the operating system ever loads. There is a password preventing you from accessing the BIOS utility. Which of the following motherboard components can most likely be used to return the computer to a state which allows you to boot the system without knowing the password? I believe that was D, jumper.
Okay, let's see how we did. Yes, the jumper is the one. Excuse me. The jumper is the one that basically will reset it. The power supply connector will only disconnect the power. Nothing to do with the BIOS itself. Next one, Pablo.
Which of the following is the first thing a technician should do before putting their hands inside a computer case? I put A, acquire the appropriate tools that are going to be used.
Everyone agree that's the first thing a technician do before putting his hands inside a computer?
I put C.
I put C.
C.
Yes, remove jewelry. Before we do anything with a computer, we should be removing jewelry.
I think it has like ground yourself, that's why.
Yeah, well, ground yourself wasn't there, was it?
Yeah, like I understood like acquire the appropriate tools as in like ground yourself, like everything.
Oh, okay.
That's how I took it, but like yeah, remove loose jewelry would be the right answer.
I was also struggling too because I was like, first thing, I was like, jewelry or tools. You need both
Right.
if you're going in. That's why I got confused. But I understand why it's removed jewelry because that's something you can easily forget.
Yeah. Next question, Daniel.
Which of the following expansion slots is mostly used for high-end video cards? I put B. I put PCIe Express.
Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, PCIe is the latest and greatest. PCI is the older model, and the one in the middle was AGP. DeAndre.
Which of the following statements about expansion bus is true? Is it B? The expansion bus crystal sets the speed of the expansion bus.
Everyone agree? Yeah?
Yes.
Correct. Yes. It is the expansion bus crystal, the one that sets the speed for the expansion bus.
Whoops, I misread the question.
That was what we were reviewing, that the expansion bus has its own, while the bus also has its own. All right, so next question, Christina?
Which variation of the PCI bus was specifically designed for laptops? I put C.
Everyone agree? C? That is correct. Next one, Teresa.
A user would like to buy a new computer and will eventually add several more hard drives and possibly a second video card. Which of the following form factors should be recommended? I put ATX. B.
Everyone agree? Yes, ATX is the one that has the most space and the biggest, right? Next one, Jordan.
This one gave me a little issue. Which of the following is a physical memory format installed directly into today's desktop computer systems?
Okay, so memory. What about memory here? So which one would be installed? Which type of memory?
Oh, never mind. I get it now. It's A.
A? Everyone agree? That is correct. Memory is DIMM. Hard drives will give you virtual memory, so those are not correct. And this here was a external MMC flash drive, right?
I'm a little bit confused. So
I was thinking
physical memory, that means RAM, not data?
Correct. Physical memory format. Which format? Is it SIM, DIMM? The trick question to see if you understand what's memory. Is hard drive used as memory? Only if it's a virtual memory, but it's not physically installed or format as being memory. eMMC is also the one that we said that's inside the iPads and stuff like that. The SSDs are those drives. So those are drives. An HDD is a drive. It's not memory. I agree. An SSD does use memory as a drive, but it's not memory.
I was going to say, could you look at drives as storage versus memory as memory?
Yeah, it's not long. There's not storage. This is in reference to memory. Those are the type of trick questions that they're going to be throwing at you, where they're very vague. You got to look at the key words that they're talking about. The only thing that might have been acceptable here was SIM or DIMM, if we're looking at memory, physical memory, right? That you're going to install. Will I be installing ROM chips? No, right? Usually no. Obviously, if something goes bad with the ROM, maybe. But in reference to the question itself, unfortunately, they meant physical memory, which usually when they tell you physical memory, that's RAM. Any questions, doubts? Next person down the list. Did I talk to you yet, Teresa? I called on you, right? Teresa? All right. Let's start all over. Alexa, which of the following are the numbers of pins that could be found on DIMM modules used on desktop motherboards? Choose two.
240 and B, 184.
That is correct. 184 and 240. Can somebody tell me what's the 200 and the 204? Where did we say that those were?
I'm pretty sure the 204 is the laptop version, the SODIMMs.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah, I think 180 was the other one. I think was another version of the SODIMM. Thank you. Let's see who's next here. Lázaro, number 13.
What memory chip would you find on a stick of PC3 16,000? Let's see here. Where's the answer? I know it's a DDR. I put DDR. Where is it? DDR 2000.
Everyone agree? DDR 2000?
Sorry, DDR 3 2000.
Oh, okay.
B.
DDR 3 2000? That is correct. If I divide this guy by 8, I should get 2. And then since it's a PC3, it must be a DDR3. Any questions on that one? No? Okay. Sure. Which of the following best explains how the data rate is doubled in DDR RAM? Carlos.
D.
Everyone agree? D?
Yeah.
That is correct. It transfers on both edges of the clock, on the top and on the bottom. Does the CPU get doubled? No, it does not. That would be the multiplier. It has nothing to do with what we're doing here. This is RAM. Obviously, it can be double data transfer, quadruple the transfer, 8 times the transfer, or 16 times the transfer, depending which DDR module we have, right? On both edges here, depending on that. So it's not always double. Next question. Justin.
A technician is building a custom gaming computer. Which of the following is the fastest memory the technician can use? I believe I put B, DDR3 Cas9.
Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That is correct. We stated that a DDR3, although the clock cycle may be a little bit slower, it does double the data throughput. So even though it takes 9, the 7 is slower.
What does the CAS stand for again?
I think they're talking about the clock cycle there.
Okay.
Look it up exactly what CAS stands for, but I know that they're talking about the clock cycle there.
Okay.
Not sure what the A stands for, but we can look it up. I believe we were used to CL as being used, not CAS, in the book that we were reading. Questions, doubts? Next one, Pablo.
A user has a new laptop with a quad-core processor and wants to increase the memory of the unit. Which of the following memory types would be the best choice? New laptop with a quad-core processor. I put SODIMM.
Everyone agree? SODIMMs?
SODIMM.
SODIMMs it is. The key word that we saw right away was laptop. DIMMs do not fit in laptops. Except if you're creating out of an ATX board. I'm not sure how you're doing that. Which of the following describes the function of dual rate memory? Daniel.
Which of the following best describes the function of dual rate memory? I put reading or writing twice per clock signal. I think that's what it was.
Everyone agree?
That would be.
Definitely yes. It is reading or writing. That was the key word I was using when.
Yeah, it was the or.
You cannot do both at the same time. It must be one or the other.
I had or first. Gosh darn it.
Next question here, DeAndre. Which of the following memory types is most commonly found in servers? At a server.
D. This one I had no clue, to tell you the truth.
Okay. So which one did your notebook help you out with?
I went with D.
Everyone agree D, ECC DIMMs would be what's inside a server? That is correct. The SODIMMs are the actual memories for laptops. I'm not sure what laptop would have an error correcting SODIMM. So the ECC DIMMs would be the ones that are available. Thank you, DeAndre. Next one, Christina. A system board has 6 slots of memory chips aligned in 2 banks. Which of the following is the optimal memory configuration this board supports?
C.
C or B or A? I'm not hearing you well.
C. Triple channel.
That would be the best, right? 6 slots, triple. It has it lined in 2 banks, so it's 6 channels. It's 3 channels per bank. Any questions, doubts? Next question. Which packaging is used for DDR SD RAM? Anyone? Which one's used for the DDR SD RAM? What's the pinout on DDR?
I put A.
168 is DDR? Everyone agree?
C.
C, 184. Drum roll, please. That is correct. C, 184 for DDR. Next question. Which of the following is used to detect and correct a single bit error in a memory DIMM?
B. ECC.
ECC? Everyone agree?
Correct.
Yep.
That is correct. ECC is the one that can detect and correct. Parity only can detect the issue, but it cannot correct it. It would have to ask for it to be resent. Which of the following is the most critical component related to removing heat from the CPU? We'll give this one to Lázaro.
I'm kind of confused with the question, actually.
You can.
I'll put thermal paste because referring to.
That is thermal paste, yes. That is the one that removes heat. He is the one that transfers heat. There is nothing else. from the paste, the fan should be the one that then pulls away from that. No, I just forgot what it was. The metal thing. Anybody want to help me out? Lost train of thought.
Heatsink.
The heat sink, thank you. So the heat sink, the fan pulls it away from the heat sink. But the one that pulls it away from the CPU, the only one that should be doing that is the thermal paste if we do it correctly. That's meant to avoid one major thing, right? That was cracking, we said. So somehow if there's cooling coming in onto the actual heat sink versus the heat from the CPU, if those two temperatures are not accurate, it can create a catastrophic chip being obviously kind of frozen while being heated, it cracks. That's what the thermal paste is doing, is making sure it removes the heat and it transfers it to the heatsink. Next one we have here, I'm not sure anymore. You guys just can shout out the answers at this point. Which of the following cooling types would most likely be recommended for a home theater PC? Everyone see?
Yes.
See, senor, home theater PC, unless if otherwise saying that it has very horrible ventilation, it would be like a normal cooling, which we said would be just a fan. Which of the following is a standard Intel processor socket type?
LGA.
D.
Landing grid, we said correct. Which of the following socket types, if required for the, I'm sorry, it is required for the Intel Core i7 9X?
A. LGA 1366.
Everyone agree? Hope we do. It was 11. It was 1366 as we reviewed the one for the i7 9X core processors. Next question here. Which of the following is a socket technology that is designed to ease the insertion for modern CPUs? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
B. ZIF. ZIF.
ZIF. Everybody agree? The zero insertion force, I think that's what it stands for. Correct. The ZIF is the one that eases the insertion. He's the plate that moves back and forth, has the holes. And he has that little arm on the side. The one with the PGA, oh wow, somebody said LPGA. Women's are gonna love you around the world, by the way. That's actually ladies professional golf association. I don't know. I think that was cute. I'm not sure who put that in. But as we learned, the ZIF is the little plate that moves back and forth slightly. We said it doesn't go drastically across, just slightly. Make sure that it pushes it in without hurting those teeth. Which of the following features allows an operating system to access multiple virtual processors?
Hyperthread. A.
That is correct. A is hyper-threading, hyper-threading. We've stated also that I believe the latest and greatest ones of AMD also have something similar to that. I think they call it something else, we said. Which other socket type is required for an AMD Phenom 2 that uses DDR3 RAM?
AM3. C.
AM3.
AM3?
Yeah.
You know me? Yes, it is. AM3. Next one. Your Core i5 fan has a 4-pin connector, but your motherboard only has a single 3-pin header with the CPU fan label. On the motherboard, it says CPU fan. Which of the following would be the easiest solution to get the necessary cooling for this CPU?
B.
Hey, Sorry.
A.
Hey,
Plug the 4-pin into
everybody
the-
agree? Plug in the 4 connector into the 3.
Yeah.
Why would I be able to do this? What's the 4th pin for? We said
to
for like
adjust speed.
Controller.
it's the controller where in the BIOS that regulates the speed. So technically, it's just going to run fast all the time. It's going to be loud, but it will work. Compared to obviously the extra pin just allows that feature of just being able to regulate the speed if you want it running fast, slow, or let it auto, whatever it does. A lot of people leave it on auto. Next question. And a technician is inspecting a PC with an Intel Core 2 quad processor and finds that the task manager is reporting the system as having 8 cores, which is she is convinced this system only has 4 cores. Which of the following technologies is causing this discrepancy so that the OS believes that it has 8?
I put 8.
Everyone agree? Hyper-threading?
A as well.
Hyper-threading is correct. That is what they told us the feature gives us. It gives us double the throughput per se, so it gives the illusion to the operating system he's got double the amount of core processors that it should have. So it's got quad, but it's showing 8 because of hyper-threading. Any questions, doubts?
Well, I'm